Okay, guys. Hello, everyone. I think this is probably a decent time to start chatting. How is everyone doing? I am here. That looks like that's the end of the event. I'm that much salty because we didn't get M1X in an iMac. I really thought we were going to. So close. So close. But hey guys, if you can share this stream now, because we are now live, we are going to go for it. We're going to do some questions and answers. We're going to have a chat. But what did everyone think of the event? Give me an out of 10 down in the live chat for your rating of the event. I thought it was pretty good. I was surprised when we saw the iMacs that early. I thought that basically meant we were probably going to get the some more iMacs, but sadly not. No bigger ones. But I think my dad is going to be probably picking up one of the 24-inch ones because he's been waiting for an iMac for quite some time. But yeah, let me know as well, guys. How's the sound doing for you guys? How's the image? Is it all working? I need to shut up the notifications that are going off. Whoop! I've got notifications going off all over the place, as you can probably expect. Let's find Do Not Disturb. There we go. Cool. That should be a little bit quieter. So, who says big disappointment? Suresh, what is sad for you? Right, okay. JCB Creatives, 2 out of 10? What? What is going on with you guys? Hype Machine, right, okay. Tech Hyped is here. How you doing? Marcin Kowalczyk, how you doing? M1X at WWDC? Yeah, I guess it could be, but I really thought it was going to be this event, and I'll tell you why. We had it's been 6 months basically since the M1s came out. It's been 161 days since they launched, and obviously 180-ish days is half a year. So I thought if they were going to launch it now, makes all the sense in the world. Get the T-shirt, but apparently not today for us, guys. But was really hoping to see it. Also thought we might see some MacBooks. I was tempted. I think they probably spent too much time on the iPad Pro because I'll be honest, I don't really care about iPad Pro that much. Interesting that they've decided to rename the X chips as M series chips now. So we are like just confirming basically what we thought in the first place, that the M1 is just A14. There's no difference. It is that same silicon, but there's no difference in the actual stuff that you're buying. I don't know if they mentioned, I might have missed it. Did they mention how many GPU cores we've got in the M1s for iPad Pro? Is it the full 8, or are they using the lower binned ones like for the MacBook Air? If anyone noticed that bit, let me know down in the chat. Obviously, once we're done with this live stream, I will be going back through the video. I will be taking some proper notes. We will do some proper videos tomorrow. But this is the live reaction chat. I think it's going to be cool. I think there's some really good stuff. I do think that the 24-inch iMac, I think it looks great. I don't care. Everyone is sort of saying, oh, not sure if you like it. MKBHD was like, it's kind of beautiful, but also really ugly. I guess because there's no matte black option. That's the only downside there. Space Grey would have been a really cool choice for them to throw in there. But you guys, there is a lot going on in the chat now. So 16 gigabytes of RAM with 2 terabytes of storage. Has anyone had a look at how much that's going to cost yet? Let's have a quick look. Let's jump onto apple.com. Let's see if they have updated yet. iPad Pro, yes. See, view pricing. Let's have a quick look. What happens if we spec this out? So $10.99, Space Grey. We haven't got the gold finish, which we thought might be coming as well. I thought that would come. 2 terabytes of storage. I think we definitely need that. Should we have cellular? Why not? Engraving's free. Don't need to add that. But yeah, these things are $2,300. $2,399 in fact. So that is the price if you want a cellular 12.9 inch with 2 terabytes of storage. That's the same starting price as the 16-inch MacBook Pro right now. So that's a little bit strange. Yeah, it's not a cheap thing at all, is it? AirTags, yes, JH Tech. So I've got a little list of the stuff that was revealed at the event. We're going to run down it kind of quickly. It is very much basic notes because obviously I was very excited as we went through. First and foremost, we had Apple Card Family. everyone cares a lot about that, so we will probably skip past that. Podcast subscriptions, I think that is probably the least popular thing that they've done at any of these events for a little while, because they're now talking about paying for subscriptions to individual podcasts. Now, if that is working in a way like apps, so like your podcast becomes like an app, and you get 70% of the money that comes in from it, and Apple gets 30%, that's a pretty good deal. So that wouldn't be too bad if that's what they're actually going to do. We will find out a lot more detail on that in the coming days, I would think. And then moving on, we got the iPhone in the iCave Purple. So that's the special edition that we've worked closely with Apple on to get the iCave edition iPhone out. I wasn't allowed to tell anyone about this. It was very much a behind-the-scenes thing. But yes, that purple iPhone looks really good, actually. I quite like that one. Next up, what do we have after that? I keep putting my notes in the wrong place on the screen, so bear with me just 1 second. Just trying to get everything arranged so that I can see. Then we went on to AirTags, and I think everyone was expecting AirTags. I thought they were going to make a bit more of a deal of them, because they were just flying through stuff at this point, right? So 12 minutes in, and we were absolutely flying. No new iPhone, Hyper JJ. What were you expecting? Did you think we were in September? Not quite sure why you thought we were going to get a new iPhone. No SD card slot in the iMacs. No, but that's fine because this isn't a Pro machine. I think maybe when we get the bigger ones, maybe we'll get an SD card slot. But also, did anyone notice that the headphone jack is in the side of the iMac now, not round the back? So that's quite a nice little touch. A little bit more usable. But we're going to come on to iMacs in a moment. We have got upgraded Apple TV 4Ks, which comes with A12. So the same that's in like the cheapest iPad in the world. Okay, fine. But I think everyone was expecting at least like A12X or A12Z, or like just throw an A14 at it. It makes much more sense. It's just much more current. Gives you a bit more flexibility, but there we go. That's what we got. Then moving on, we got with that the color balance thing. I thought was a really cool addition. Sorry guys, I'm not really looking at the chat for any questions just at the moment. I will be doing, and we will certainly open it up. We will do a lot of questions and answers. I just want to do a quick rundown of everything that we've seen. But before I go any further, I have to remember that I need to just play this. iCave's spring-loaded coverage is brought to you by CleanMyMAc X, the all-in-one cleaning and optimizing software for your Mac. No matter how flawless and perfect new Apple products may seem, they still need good care to keep the best performance, protect from vulnerabilities, and prevent possible issues. CleanMyMAc X is an app that handles these issues and helps to top up your Mac's performance. CleanMyMAc X is more than just a Mac cleaner. It doesn't show you the files you already know you have, it deep scans your Mac for temporary files and app leftovers that aren't so easy to find manually. A single smart scan examines your system for log files and user cache that's no longer needed, runs a quick malware check, and does some optimization to help speed up your Mac, all in just a few seconds. Gives you more control over apps and their files. Find out what apps and programs you have on your Mac and uninstall those that you don't need. Plus, CleanMyMac X recently rolled out native Apple Silicon support for Macs. If you're a lucky owner of the latest Mac model, be ready to enjoy a smooth ride at faster CleanMyMac X performance with your new Mac, as well as keeping track of permissions so you can see which apps are accessing your Mac's camera and microphone. Link is in the description to check out a free trial, which of course helps to support this channel too. And we're back. So I just had to throw that in. As you can see, we got a sponsor for this week, which is great for me. It means that it helps to pay the bills here. It means that I can do more of this sort of stuff. So thank you very much to CleanMyMac X for sponsoring this show. But let's get back into it. Let's keep talking about what we got. So the colorimeter thing on the Apple TV is a really cool idea. Like, using your iPhone as a colorimeter is actually awesome. So that is actually going to make probably more difference to a lot of people than you think at this point. And then the new Apple TV remote looks really good. It's got the old iPod click wheel. I love that very much. So that's really, really cool. And then we got onto Apple Silicon. We were only like 20 minutes into the event. We got the new iMacs. It is so thin. It does actually look like it looks like an iPad on a stick, which is what people kind of described it as being beforehand, and it is. I thought it was going to kind of be a little bit more like the Pro Display XDR with probably less of the bezels at the bottom, but it's not, and it doesn't have the massive holes in the back because it doesn't need the cooling that the Pro Display XDR does. 4.5K Retina display in like an entry level Mac in a $1,299 Mac is pretty awesome. Those speakers look really good. I like that. Touch ID finally on a desktop, pretty good. I think the colours look really, really good because I thought they were going to be the horrible washed out ones that we got with the iPads. Because this is my blue one, and you can see it's not that blue, but with the iMacs it looks really, really good. And I think that strength of the colours is good. I actually think as well that they've got the base model and the higher end model with different colours. Also harks back to what they did with the G3s, so it actually makes sense kind of historically to Touch ID in the keyboard and MagSafe power. Like, MagSafe for an iMac, that seems like a very strange option, and what I would have liked to see Apple do, I'm not sure if I missed this, but I'm pretty sure they didn't mention it, is if they were going to do MagSafe, and your power cable might get pulled out quite easily, like, throw a battery in there. Like, so that, I've always thought this with Apple desktops, why not have a battery in there, just like a laptop, so that if your power cord gets pulled out, or you have a power cut or something, you can save your work and shut it down safely. It doesn't need to be a big one, but it just needs to have enough power in it to keep it kind of running long enough. But it doesn't look like they've done that, but I love the new design. I really, really like it. So, want to get hands-on with one of those as soon as I possibly can. They're not ridiculous money either. I'm quite impressed with what they've done for the money. And then we went on to the iPad Pro with M1. 2 terabytes maximum storage, 16 gigabytes of memory. You know, I think there's some pretty compelling stuff there. The new XDR Liquid Retina displays also looks really good. I can't say that I'm particularly excited about the iPad Pros because I'm just not a massive fan of the iPad Pros. I think it's probably overpowered for what it needs to be for the majority of people. The iPad Air for me is like the sweet spot with an iPad, but I understand why people want it. 5G coming into it as well, which is what we expected. I would have preferred to see Starlink built into it. That would have been much nicer, but 5G will have to do for now. And Thunderbolt, so you can connect more stuff to it. And when they started talking about Thunderbolt and talking about how great the XDR displays were, I really thought we were going to get that iMac display becoming kind of a part of what we were talking about. But I thought they were going to do the display as a separate item. But alas, no, we didn't get that, which is very sad, very sad. But I'm going to close my notes down now. We're going to go straight to the chat. We are going to chat, guys. Let me know if you've got any questions down there in the comments. Make sure you use hashtag iCaveAnswers. I will do my best to answer any questions that you have about the event. But just a few of the ones that are coming through, it is quite quick on the chat because we've got 350 people here, which is nice. So we got why 4 USBs and 2 Thunderbolts. So I know the I/O on the iMac, I was a bit like, thought there was going to be a bit more than this. No Space Gray iMac. Yeah, that's a bit weird. I thought they might have done a darker one, but maybe they're saving a little bit of the stuff that's coming from that side for later. I see I have chat revenue. Ah, there we go. Ahmed, hey, how are you doing? Really hoping for a MacBook Pro 16 inches. My 15-inch 2016 Pro broke yesterday. I do data analytics masters education work on my iPad Pro 2018, or will I need a Mac? I would say you will probably be better with a Mac. But if you are waiting, if you have the opportunity to do it as a desktop, even if it's in the short term, the Mac Mini is a really, really, really good choice. That's what we run this whole channel on. The Mac Mini with M1 is an absolute beast in terms of like the power, and it is absolutely dead silent. So if you can afford to like have your iPad for when you're out and about, but when you're at home, you can do your data analytics. And you can do it on the desktop, maybe use your TV as part of your setup. That would be a really, really good way of doing it. So thank you very, very much for the super chat. If you've got any follow-ups for that, do let me know. you think, Daniel thinks that this is part of a slow merge of iPadOS and macOS. I don't think so. I think we're going to get a lot of apps crossing over, but I think the interface is going to stay the way that it is. And the reason that I think it's going to be that way around, I just think that the way that you interact with an iPad is just different to the way that you interact with a Mac. So I think that's the way that we will keep it for now. Marcin Kowalczyk, do you prognose M1X big iMac at WWDC? I kind of do now, I think, and I think M1X is going to have to come by WWDC unless they're just going to save it purely for the next generation, and it'll just be like M2 and M2X, and there'll never be an M1X. But autumn doesn't make any sense, so I know there's a few people there saying in the autumn. The reason that I thought it would come now is it's basically 6 months, we're halfway through the year, and if you're going to do your Pro upgrade, that would make sense to do it now, so that you get your M1s come out around probably October time each year, and then you'll get your your M1X or your M2X come out around about this time of year. So it's 6 months later. You've got a nice little gap between the two release cycles, and you release all of your M1 stuff in one go, or your M series stuff, and all of your M series X stuff at the other chunk. M1X in the winter doesn't make sense, because if you wait until the autumn winter time, then you're going, we're bringing out the M1X, which is the powerful version of M1, and also here's M2, so you can have faster cores, which are more efficient, or you can have more cores that are the older version. That doesn't really make sense to me, but let's see what happens. So let's have a quick look what else we've got here. UK Apple Sheep, hey, how you doing? iCaveDave, will you be picking one up? Which one do you mean, Elisa? Are we talking iPads or iMacs? Kelly Herring, drooling over that purple. Yeah, 100%. The new iPhone. My wife is due for a new iPhone, so I might see if I can convince her that a purple one would be a really good choice, so I can have a look at it in person. Daniel, want to outmode the Mac and move to the iPad's UI. That's what you mean. See, I just don't think they will. I think they'll keep a lot of the look of it similar, but I think the way that it works will be different. That's my thoughts. Kind of understand why they didn't do it now, but too many products, says Marcin. I don't know. Like, I think you're bringing that new iMac out. I just feel like if you're going to bring out the iMac now, and then in 2 months, in June, you're going to go, and here's the M1X, I think that's too close. I think you can justify it when it's 6 months away. I think it's difficult to justify it when it's that close. It's 2 months. People have just bought the new 24-inch iMac, thinking this is great, and then the better one comes out, and people can resell them, but not everyone wants to resell stuff, and I get that. But that's my thoughts. Zaki Jewelry, there's no reason for them to release M1X or M2 when there's no competition. There's absolutely reason. You pull away and you make it completely obliterating the competition. And there is competition. Like, we've done a video that we broke down like what all of the Apple Silicon chips that have been rumoured, right up to a 36-core Mac Pro, which would have 32 of the Firestorm cores and still 4 of the efficiency cores in there. And at that level, then you are way beyond what anyone else can do, because you're doubling the highest performance Threadripper at that point. And the graphics performance with 128 cores, if it scales in a reasonably normal way, then you're looking at sort of RTX 3090, NVIDIA kind of scores. So, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. But there's absolutely a reason to do it, because there are still definitely chips out there that are more powerful. It's just that they also take up more energy. They don't have the battery life and a lot of the other stuff. But, so American Patriot, been so excited to buy an iMac, but was let down big time by the big chin and already old M1. Yeah, but it's not already old. It's just, it's a very good chip. Like, in the M1 that we're running this whole stream on, and my channel runs on, and all the videos are edited on, and everything else, like, I can be rendering the videos for the channel, and also doing my Photoshop to do the thumbnails, and also having a couple of videos running on YouTube for other stuff, and also, do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't get saturated, and I've only got the 8 gig version, so It's absolutely awesome. In 2 months, the M1X would be the Pro system. Not better, but geared for a different audience. That's Joe Garcia. Yeah, I mean, I kind of see it, and I do see why they might hold it back for WWDC, but what if, they've said that they're not going to deliver these iMacs until mid-May. What if we get an event in May as well, and then that's when they bring out M1X, so people have the option to switch before their device is sent out? That's a possibility. But yeah, the M1 Mac Mini, it's Linda. Yeah, you've got one too. They're awesome. Like, it's such a little powerhouse. And to be honest, I was worried about the I/O, just like a lot of other people have been in the past. But like, it's only when I do a stream like this that I actually fill up the ports. And actually, my iPhone that's streaming this now, could be plugged. Actually, it can do this wirelessly, but I'm doing it to kind of keep the latency down so that it's a bit quicker. Yeah. So, what else have we got coming in questions? Anyone got iCave answers? Brian Semrad. iCave answers 16-inch MacBook Pro and MagSafe plus 10 gig. 10 gig in power adapter? Oh, 10 gig Ethernet. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that would be really cool. And I think that might well be what happens. Like, that was a really innovative thing. I thought that they would put in the Ethernet down into that power adapter. And I'm a little bit surprised that they've put the power adapter outside of the iMac. But when it's this low power, presumably that's not a problem. And like, the iMac is only going to be running at like 15 watts for the processor, and then I guess the display probably takes a bit more power. But once we actually get up to the M1X ones, we're going to be getting to like 45 watts, maybe 35 to 45 watts for the processor. So that's a little bit more. There's a bit more going on there. Right, let's see what else we've got. They scrapped the iMac Pro for no reason. The current iMacs are not it. No, they didn't scrap the iMac Pro, Martin. They didn't make any more because they basically got to the end of the chips they'd got, and because Intel have been knobs, they didn't want to buy any more from them. I think that's probably more likely what's happened there, and they're just like, we're not buying any more chips from Intel because of the way they've behaved in terms of their marketing. Daniel McCarthy, should I get the iMac or the iPad Pro? Both have M1. It's really hard to choose. It depends how much you like poking the things on the screen. If you're happy with touchscreen and actually paying more for your keyboard, because bear in mind that the iMac has a bigger display. It has the physical keyboard with Touch ID and all the rest of it. Whereas your iPad Pro is very much like, you've got Face ID and then you've got the on-screen keyboard, or you can pay another $350 if you want to have the physical keyboard. Swings and roundabouts a little bit. So, Marcin Kowalczyk, I think hefty iMac will have integrated power again because too much of a brick. No, don't think it will. I think the brick will stay external. I don't think they're going to change the physical design that much. Even for the bigger iMacs, I think it's going to be very, very similar look. Linda Lawson, need more thumbs ups. Yeah, we do actually, so let's have some more likes, please. You guys, you're all watching me live, so you can all hit that like button, and that will make me happy. Not that I can actually see. Oh, we've got 55. Okay, but we've got 300 of you guys here, so there's only like 1 in 6 of you that's actually hit the thumbs up. Right, May event. Yeah, could be one. So let's see what happens with that. In all honesty, it'll probably be like 3 weeks before we hear about it, if they are going to do one. But it would also fit with the fact that we do April, May, and then June WWDC this year. Because they're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about. Peter Holdman, my bad, still only 4 ports. Yeah, there's less I/O than I expected, but also, like, people are doing a lot more in the cloud. They're not attaching as much storage. I don't know quite how much stuff that you guys attach to your Macs, but the Mac Mini that I've got, which has got 2 USB-A's and 2 USB-C ports, which are Thunderbolt ports. I only have one of my Thunderbolt ports populated, which has got a display on it. And then I have one of my USB-A ports has a hub, which is sitting behind the display, and that connects to the majority of my other stuff, which is absolutely fine for what I need. And I do think using a hub is not a bad option. I don't see why people need everything to be integrated, especially on a desktop. It's not as much of an issue, I don't think. But there we go. We've got a few more likes. Thank you very much, guys. 101. That is much nicer, but there's still a third of you guys that hate me. And I get that, but at the same time, it makes me wonder why you're still here. Right, iCave answers, how powerful do you think a Mac Pro will be in 3 years? I say it will rival 64-core Threadrippers and RTX Quadros. Right, so we've already done this. There is a video, the Golden, and the 128 core graphics is around about the same performance as a 3090, and the 36 core Apple Silicon, assuming it only uses the same chips that we have now, would be around about double the performance of that Threadripper with 64 cores. That's we did the maths already. Marcin Kowalczyk asks, any predictions towards a bigger Mac port layout? Ethernet, USB, Thunderbolt. No, the Ethernet will stay in the power brick. Thunderbolt, yeah, that'll still be there. SD card, maybe, and I think if we do get SD cards in it, it will probably go in the side like the headphone port is, rather than around the back, so you can actually reach it. Will AirTags be an iteration? What do you think? AirTags, I think this is just AirTags. This is what we've got. Although there have been patents put in for AirTags that actually you can attach them to your body, and their motion tracking is actually really quite good. So you can use them to adjust your posture and a bunch of stuff like that. So there's a lot of things. Was I disappointed by the announcements? The only thing I was disappointed by was the fact that we didn't get 2 sizes of iMac, because we've seen 2 iMac models go into macOS Big Sur, and I don't think that those 2 models are the 2 that we've seen, the $12.99 and the $14.99. That doesn't seem right, but it could be. So it might well be that there is another iMac on the way, but they just haven't mentioned it yet. What else have we got there? How many ports you don't want to see my iMac? My original point that it might not speak well for the ports on the MacBook Pro. Okay, I missed that one. Yeah, MacBook Pro, it looks like they're going to stick some more stuff into there. Like, that's what we've been hearing, but we will see. Looks like they might come with HDMI coming back in there and a few more bits. Pokemon Magic UK, man, where's the M1X in the big iMac? No mini LED for the Mac to let down. But it's only a letdown because we thought we might get it. There were no leaks that said that we would. It's just our assumptions. So it's not their fault. What else have we got here? The baby iMac price seemed reasonable. M1X later this year. Yeah, I think you might be right, Max, but I'm just sad because I wanted to see the faster one. I wanted to see some Intel people get really sad, because I'm just mean to people from Intel now. I think it was a great production event. Again, the speed they were getting through stuff, though. We had AirTags were there by like 12 minutes, and we were into Apple Silicon iMacs by like 20 minutes. And then I just think it just lost all of its momentum, and they spent too long talking about the iPad Pro for me, because I don't care about the iPad Pro that much. Be the Sunshine, do you work at Apple? Nope, sadly not. What's your opinion? The best Beats model depends what you want. If you want wireless, like in-ear buds, then the Beats X are fine. If you want over the head ones, Studio 3. Does look sweet, the new iMac. Yep, it sure does. Less is more with the Mac. Yeah, true. iCaveDave, do you think now would be a good time to go out and buy a refurb / lightly used 2018 iPad Pro? I think it was a great idea up until today, but with M1 inside, the performance jump is pretty massive, because you're not just going from an A13X to an A14X, essentially. You're going from an A12X to an A14X to the M1, which is just a massive jump. So actually, the used iPads should be dropping in resale value quite drastically now, if they follow their actual value. iPad Pro gets max 2TB storage, but the iMac only gets 512. I think that's starting storage. I don't think that's maximum storage, but I could be wrong on that, Ben. Do you think Apple will make an Apple TV 8K starting at 4K US? I don't think that Apple won't make their own TV panels. I've never thought that they will do that, even though there was a lot of talk about it a little while ago. If anything, they might make a TV box that can run up to 8K. One of the arguments I had for this was that because they've got their own streaming service, they could have just produced everything in 8K in the first place and just had it in the pocket, because the big problem with 8K TVs is no one will buy them because there's nothing to watch in 8K. Like, even getting 4K through terrestrial is difficult, and streaming 4K is nowhere near as good as if you have physical media, but nobody wants physical media, and I can't blame them, because who wants all those discs hanging around your house? So yeah, not sure what the best option is for that until internet gets reliably a lot faster. The baseline is no USB-A and a MagSafe cable with internet. Okay, yeah, I need to go and rewatch that that whole event, because it was quite overwhelming. I was trying to tweet as well as kind of make notes for this, so yeah, I do need to go back and double check some stuff. What about Apple Pencil 3? There wasn't one mentioned, was there? I didn't think there was, although the dude that was breaking into Apple Park did have a laser in his, so maybe that is Apple Pencil 3 and that was just a Easter egg teaser for us. What else have we got? MagSafe, great idea for the iMac. Yeah, it's a cool idea. I'm not sure why it's a great idea, because, you know, if it comes out, then your iMac just goes straight off, whereas with a laptop that has a battery in it, your Mac keeps working. You don't want it to fall off the desk, obviously, but still. Haroon Wahidi and no AirPods. No, there was never going to be AirPods, and I've said this all the way through. AirPods don't get event coverage. They don't need to. Only the first ever AirPods got event coverage. AirPods Pro didn't get event. AirPods Max didn't get event. So AirPods 3 was certainly not getting an event. No Ethernet on the base model, that's fair enough, but also the vast majority of people never plug in an Ethernet cable, and if it's a base model, then the people that want an Ethernet model are not buying that one anyway, pretty much. But why the chin? So you can see the colour. That is the main reason. American Patriot, the iMac page has no mention of 16 gigs memory. Oh, is it just an 8 gig? 8 gig only? That's surprising, but maybe it will all appear once the actual configurator comes up. Let me have a look at that, actually, because that is surprising to me. Also, why is, when I go to apple.com, still get the event thing. Okay, iMacs are at least billed above iPad Pro, because iPad Pro is dull, and iMacs are awesome. I also wanted to see MagSafe go into the foot. I thought that would have been really cool. Right, let's have a quick look at the iMacs. Let's view pricing. So it's got the better cameras, which everyone wanted, so that's a good start. We have got more colours. So the base one you can have in blue, green, red and pink, or silver, like silvery grey, and that's the $1,200. Yeah, you don't get USB 3 ports. You just get that. Okay, just the 2 Thunderbolts. Wow, that is limited. That is quite limited. And yeah, 8 gigabytes of unified memory, it says across the board, but is that just starting? It won't let you configure them at the moment, so we don't actually have that information. But that's definitely something I need to double check on, because that just doesn't seem quite right, unless they are literally just pushing it. And you have got the 7-core GPU in the lower end iMac as well, so it's basically exactly the same as the MacBook Air. Okay, interesting. Let's have a quick look at the memory on that iPad Pro as well, because I'm interested in that. Let's jump in on there. iPad Pro, give me the information, not the... Oh, no, that's 5G. 5G! It's 5G. So we've still got 27-inch iMacs. They still exist on the store, but not the others. Guys, thank you so much for these super chats. That's very kind of you. Ahmed, release date prediction for the redesigned MacBooks. I think that's got to be WWDC now. I can't imagine they would push it much further than that. I think they'll at least announce it at WWDC and maybe launch them in July, because it said that production was starting around June, I think, from what I've heard. Michael Sandish, thank you very much for the super chat. I assume you don't have a question because there's not one attached to it, but thank you so much. Really do appreciate this, guys, for the super chats. Right, in terms of let's learn more about the iMac. I do love the videos and stuff. I think these things look really, really cool. I'm sorry to anyone that doesn't like them. It's 11.5mm thick, which is about 2 iPads in thickness. Which I think if you went any thinner than that, then you would have bending issues with something this size and probably this weight. New microphone, Marcin Kowalczyk. Yeah, this is one that I've had sent for review. Let me know how it sounds in the chat. But I did also use it in today's main video, but you could still see the snowball because that was the one that I knew would be fine. But the sound from this seemed to be pretty good. I just had it on the desktop. But let me know how the sound is sounding for you guys. iMac up to 16GB of unified memory, just not selectable. Yeah, so they've obviously not got the pricing stuff on there. Right, let's see what else have we got down here in the chats. What do you guys think about the 12.9-inch iPad Pro having 2GB? I'm excited for this as a content creator who works off iPad Pro. Maxwell Bates, yeah, thank you for the question. I think it's really cool. I don't think options like that are ever a worse thing. Like, there should always be the options there. Marcin, you think the audio is pretty much on a par with the Snowball, but you like the retro look of the other one. That's fair enough. That's cool. That's cool. Audio sounds good. I like that. I like that. I'd rather have an iMac that's thicker with no chin. I'd like it in the metal colours rather than the rainbow colours. Yeah, that's fair enough. I think we might end up getting that with some of the bigger ones. Maybe we'll get like iPad Pro style stuff on the bigger ones. But we'll see. I have a feeling, though, that when we get our next MacBooks, when we get our 14 and 16-inch redesigns, we might see these same colours come into those. Wireless charging still in turtle form on the back? Probably, Joe, I'm afraid, which is honestly the worst thing in the world. I don't know why they didn't put MagSafe into it. Like, it would have made so much sense. Pretty much anyone that's got a Mac is going to have an iPhone and is probably the kind of person that would buy a MagSafe charger. Slap that MagSafe puck onto the bottom of your mouse and call it a day. That seems like pretty good. Usama Sohail, no MacBook at this event? No. There weren't really many predictions for the MacBooks to be here, but it looks like they will come middle of the year. That must be when we're seeing M1X now, or whatever it's going to be called. But honestly, M1 is just so good. Like, I don't think people understand. If you've not got an M1 Mac, I don't think you can possibly understand how good these things are. Oh, Mr. Hughes, thank you so much. I really appreciate the super chat there as well. But if I've answered all your questions, then that's great. But if you have got any more questions, guys, please do let me know. Apple placed Apple TV for near $250 in India. Watch the video from your channel, Olivia Shorts. That's all right. We can see. You don't have to spam us all. Don't make me mute you, Olivia. Don't make me use the mute stick. Right. Yeah, and it is $250. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. You know, that's what it works out at probably here in the UK as well. That's what the price is. Sorry. And remember as well, in the States, we're looking at these prices and we're saying it's $180, right, for the entry-level one. Although it's $180, they add the tax on after the fact as well. It's not something that that happens at the checkout. In the US, they don't have the sticker including their taxes. They have to add it on at checkout, whereas we, in general, and I think in India, you also kind of have it included in the sticker price, right? So it's not actually as much of a difference as everyone always thinks anywhere outside of the US. Right, let's have another look through these. What have we got? Things that M1 should not be in the iMac. Well, I did think that the M1 would probably be like an education version of the iMac. I also think that the education version of the iMac will be an M1 one, but it will also probably have less storage in it. Wonder if they got the Magic Mouse to charger on the front yet. S Shoemaker, probably not, sadly. We just need OS 10 on iPad now. Phil, it's not going to happen, mate. It's not going to happen. They're not going to merge iPadOS and macOS. It's not going to happen. Stephen Huxtable, just recovering from the event. It was fast paced at the beginning there, right? It was not a gentle pace. 12 minutes in, we had so much stuff to look at. Right, Love Motive's meditation music. Oh, supercharged MacBook Pro 16-inch and an M1 Mac Mini, and a MacBook Pro 13, and the M1. The MacBook Pro 16 is still faster than the M1. At what? Because I bet it doesn't last as long. But yeah, I mean, they're about on a par, to be fair. The fastest laptops that you can get with the 16-inch MacBook Pro is about on a par with the $700 Mac Mini. So yeah, for your $4,000, you can nearly catch up with the Mac Mini. Wheel Suck Vital SZN. That's cool. Good to know. Thank you for letting us know. Jim, David, you need a 1080p webcam. Thank you so much. Well, I would be delighted to have one of these iMacs, but actually I'm using a 12 megapixel iPhone 12 Pro Max right now to do this video, but I'm using the wide angle because it just makes life a little bit easier in here because I'm quite close to the display. And also, in all honesty, my office is really tiny. It looks a lot bigger because of the wide angle. That's what she said. If you compare all the Macs, you can see the 16GB option. Okay, I will have a proper dig and play around with this. Richard Coben, no 27-inch or bigger iMac. Not yet, but I don't think it's far away. I think it is going to be coming pretty soon. Apple are proving a point that you don't need an iMac, you just need a Mac Mini. Untitled one. Are you a Photoshop file? Because most of mine are called that. Yeah, I mean, I'm running on the Mac Mini M1 right here, and I've got way more screen real estate than these iMacs have got. What I don't have is a built-in webcam, which is why I have got my iPhone plugged in. That's what we're using to stream this. But other than that, like, I'm really happy with this setup. I wouldn't swap it for an iMac at the moment. But pricing-wise, like, that's a good deal. That's the same as a MacBook Pro with M1. And you get a 24-inch 4.5K display and some really nice little features there. Touch ID coming to the keyboard is a really nice touch. There's some really cool stuff. Usama Sohail, I didn't skip you, brother. I'm trying to get through as many of these questions as I can, and it moves a little bit fast. But what did you need from me? You hit it up down there, and I will make sure that I answer you. Do you reckon we got the keyboards by themselves for the M1 MacBook Pro? Yeah, probably. It might not be instantly, but they might come out, by WWDC, something like that. You think the 32-inch is the Pro Series, Jim? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Probably will be, but then why would they retire the name of the iMac Pro and not just keep it around until that arrives? Don't know. 32 inches is the next iMac size. I think everyone's right here, to be honest. I think it is going to be that size, and I think we are probably going to get 6K. That just makes sense. All right, what else have we got questions-wise? Guys, we're going to keep this stream going probably until 8 PM. I think that's a fair time. So we've got another 15 minutes. If you've got any questions, hit me up down in the chat. And also, if you've got questions that I don't necessarily get to, or if you feel like I'm missing you out, then do feel free. Oh, Tim Beaton, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate that, man. If you have, thank you, have a pint. No worries. I'm actually just on loads of water today because I've had my second COVID jab, and I got bad side effects from the first one. So, yeah, that was this afternoon's job. But they just said have loads of water and paracetamol. And at 8 o'clock, I kind of need to dose myself up as well, because I don't want to be shivering and stuff like last time. But yeah, if there's any questions that I haven't got to, if I've skipped you, I'm not doing it on purpose, I promise. I'm not victimizing anyone apart from you. But just leave them down in the comments section as well as putting them in the chat. If I can get to them in the chat, I will. If I haven't and they're down in the comments section, then I will get to them for the next video, and I will make sure that I answer anything that is down there with hashtag iCaveAnswers. It might be an iCaveAnswers special, and it will certainly be done before the end of this week, because we have sponsors and we have videos that we need to make for them to fulfill that side of things, which is a nice place to be in now. So, 11 inches versus 12.9-inch iPad Pro compare. So, the 11-inch is basically the same one. It's got a different display. That's it. The 11-inch will also, in theory, run faster than the 12.9-inch because it hasn't got to push as many pixels. Wow, look, Love Motives meditation music, PHP 499. I don't know what that means. They're doing this iMac more ugly so that it sets it completely apart from the Pro one that will come later on. That's an interesting theory. I don't think it's ugly at all, though. I really like the look of this thing. It's fun. It really does give me the nostalgia for the old school, like the G3 iMac that was shown on the screen there. I'm going to have to get my G3 down out of the loft. It's going to have to make an appearance this week. But I really like it. I like the look of it. It doesn't feel like the Apple that we've known, but I think it feels like the Apple that we're going into. I think that the colours being back is a really cool thing. And actually, at the end of August last year, one of my earliest videos on this channel, I said that one of the things that they could do to differentiate the Apple Silicon Macs from the old Intel ones is bring colours. And it was almost exactly these colours. It was the same colours from the Apple logo. I said MacBooks, but obviously it's come to iMacs first. I do think these colours are also going to come to the 14 and the 16-inch MacBooks. That is going to happen. 100%. I'm not putting eyebrows on it. I'm not betting my eyebrows. That seems to be a dangerous game. But still. Daniel Duran, thank you for doing the conversion for me, about €8.50. You know, anything helps. I'm really, really pleased with any of this, and I've never expected Super Chat. Oh, we've got more. Thank you so much. Am I going to get one here on the channel? The iMacs, I'm guessing you mean. I probably won't be buying the iMac, but my dad has been in the market for an iMac for quite some time. He's already texted me during the show to say, yes, I want one. We need to discuss what the spec's going to be. So we'll work that out, and I'll see whether I can get to it. So we'll see. We might go and do an unboxing at my dad's house. That might be an option that we have to do. But if I can do that in a day, it's quite a drive. But it could be done. It could be done. So yeah, I will try and get hands on one as soon as I can, basically. The USB ports just made me realise that you can use your 2021 iPad Pro as a computer because they also have two USB-C ports. They have two USB-C ports on the new iPad Pro? I didn't even see that. I thought they just had a Thunderbolt one and maybe one in the smart keyboard. But I definitely need to watch this event again. I was too excited. I was getting very, very excitable. Fabian Ramirez, wait, are they 120 frames per second? Are you talking about the iPad Pro? Because yes, they 100% are. But yes, you guys, I really do appreciate all these super chats. It really does make me happy. Thank you very much. Daniel, can you let me know what happened with Sean TV? Because I didn't see what he was posting that you've put him in a timeout for. Like in general, I'm quite happy with whatever people want to post here. We'll just chat, you know. Any more questions? Hashtag iCave answers in there. We're going to do another 10 minutes or so. So if you've got some more questions, we will do that. The remote on the Apple TV can control your whole TV. Yes, the Apple TV remote is one of the things that I was really excited about, actually. And somebody has sent me an Android TV box to review for some reason, but we're going to do it. You know, we might as well. Because it's interesting to kind of compare what the differences are. And we've got a TV here that needs a smart box. So I was quite happy to review it. But I actually think that new remote looks really, really good. It looks super chunky as well. Please tell me they've put U1 in it so that we can basically use it like an AirTag and we can locate it in our house, because losing a remote is always a thing that happens. But yes, it's got a click wheel style iPod wheel on it, so you can use that for scrubbing. That's great. Siri button on the side like your iPhone. That's great. I personally use the iPhone for most remote work anyway. But yeah, it's like that's one of my favourite things actually from the event, as well as obviously the iMacs that made me very, very happy. But then I spent a lot of my time going, but surely M1X, and then it didn't come, and then that made me sad. Marcin Kowalczyk, thank you so much for some pluns. I don't know how much a plun is, but again, Thank you very much. Braided power cables for iMac now. Yeah, it looks like it actually, doesn't it? I need to double check how that looks. Oh, you've... Daniel, thank you for messaging me directly about that. I would assume it's on Instagram, and I can't check because my iPhone is here. But thank you, I appreciate it nonetheless. Am I thinking that the M1 chip will make a massive difference on the iPad and drop the value of the previous iPads? Brandon Stewart, 100% I do. Mainly because it is a 2-generation jump, not a 1-generation jump, because the iPads in 2020, when they got the A14... let's start this again. The 2020 iPads, when they got the A12Z chips, that is an A12X chip, but with all of the graphics cores working. That's all that is. So it's still a 2-generation old version, and now we have an A14X, basically. So yeah, it's going to be a big difference. It's going to be probably 40% faster, plus more memory. It's going to make quite a big difference, actually. So M1 is basically A14X with Thunderbolt added. No, Joe Garcia, M1 is A14X. Thunderbolt is now part of the... It's just one chip. There isn't an A14X. So Thunderbolt is right there. A14X doesn't exist. A14 is what you get in your iPhone or in the iPad Air. A14X is what we would have got in the iPad Pro, but we got M1 instead because, as I've said for a long time, the M1 is basically the same as the A14X, and it makes no sense for Apple to make more chips, more different designs of chips. What they can do if they are making just chips for themselves is make a chip that has redundant parts in it, and basically just not worry about the extra bits not being needed. So just, if you make just M1s and just A14s, then you can do as much as you want of those, and you haven't got to design lots of new stuff. Hopefully that makes sense. Linda Lawson, no M1X. Yes, you're right. Daniel Duran, the remote is the same size. We need an bigger, do we? It looks chunkier. It looks thicker, definitely. I don't know if it's actually bigger in the other dimensions, but it looks a lot bigger. But the glass surface on the old one was a terrible idea. Chat, is the iPad 8th generation or the iPad Air 120 frames per second? Fabian, no, neither of those is. They are both 60 frames per second. Only the Pros are 120 frames per second, and that is only ProMotion, so it's variable refresh rate. Hopefully that makes sense. Right, let's have a quick look down here. Whoa, we've got more from Love Motors meditation music. I'm going to have to get some of this music on the go. Apple never really had a difference between normal and Pro before, but now they're starting to take that gap very seriously, so I'm hoping that the Pro iMacs more than this Rainbow Nostalgia ones, but one wouldn't hurt. Yeah, I mean, they are really making a difference. Like, I kind of wanted to see the iPad Pros come with stainless steel edges, like the iPhone Pros. I think that would have been really cool. And I think that would have looked awesome as well, and you could have put a glass back onto it, and you could have made it have MagSafe charging as an option as well. But they've not done that, but they've done so much other stuff. The thick boy aspect of the new version, because they've had to make the display thicker for the mini LED that they've put into the iPad Pros. That's going to look a little bit different. Right. All about whatever. I'm joining the party late. Do you need the iPhone 12 to use AirTags? Or they work with previous models. It kind of hinted at the U1 chip. So the U1 chip is also in the iPhone 11s, I think. So it's iPhone 11 SE probably. I'll have to double check on that. And like the SE2, because that's got the A13 in it. And iPhone 12 generation. I think those are the only ones that it will work with in terms of the U1 side of things. But actually on the Find My stuff, it will work great with all the others. So yeah, so they've dropped the, will they drop the AX series chips now that they have M1 on the iPad Pro? Yeah, it looks like it. But maybe they're just bringing that X over to M1s, or maybe they're going to have a different letter, and what letter, if you're going to replace M for Mac, what other letter are you going to put in there? Hit me up down in the chat right now, what you think. Daniel Duran. Oh, they've already got AirPod accessories going on. Awesome stuff. Nice, nice. Don't think it's a 2020 SE. Don't think. Oh, okay. You don't think it's got the U1. That makes sense. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for the clarification there. But yeah, Apple had a titanium MacBook in 2001. Aluminium. It was a PowerBook actually. Aluminium has a lot of advantages when it comes to manufacturing. Barbara Nostrand. Maybe I've got that right. Yes, they did. But Apple has also put a lot of R&D into titanium recently. They've patented a whole bunch of new processes for titanium with coatings and things like that. And these coatings may well be in various colours, perhaps, because these patents do mention dyes being injected into the pores that they're adding to this titanium. So that is very interesting stuff now. But they've also been working with titanium, especially at bulk, with Apple Watch. So I think we might be seeing titanium come into at least one of the MacBook lines. I'm not 100% sure, though, if it's going to be MacBook Pro, which you would think would be the titanium one because it's more expensive, or MacBook Air, because the whole point of the MacBook Air is it should be light. So we will see. But it's also not that much more expensive. It's just more expensive to work with. M series will remain an M, Barbara. Cool. Okay, fine. But do you think we're going to get the X on the end then? Or are we going to just get just M1 and then just M2? Maybe we're just not going to get anything faster than M1s and M2s. M1Z because we like our aluminium with a Z. Joe Garcia. I will aluminium for you guys whenever you would like in the proper way. Vinay Spider, hello. I see you waving. I see you. Apple Silicon Gamer, you see that Warp Drive game? Yeah, the Warp Drive is alright. I've played that one before. It's pretty good. Apple Silicon Gamer, you were right, actually. You were right about the mics and the speakers. And where are you getting your information from, my friend? And also, I do want to talk to you about doing some more stuff about gaming, because it's quite good. Max, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, just, I haven't got any more questions to ask. Just slap them down in the description, in the comments section with hashtag iCaveAnswers. We will do a whole bunch more. M1T for turbo. We're never going to move past P. Maybe M1 power chip. Okay, not too bad. The Mac is great, but why not M1X? Yeah, we were hoping for an M1X. It didn't come. It's a little bit disappointing, but I'm not gonna cry because I think it looks really good, and it's the first step towards us getting the M1X in stuff. But I think maybe they're just holding the M1X iMac back. I think the M1X iMac is ready to go. I think it exists, and I think it's in Apple Park, and they're using it. What I think might be the issue is they want to launch M1X for the iMac along with the MacBooks, and the MacBooks have been delayed. Maybe that is the issue that's been going on, and that is why we haven't seen the M1X iMac yet. That would be my best idea. Sean Holiday, do you think this iMac could run my recording studio? I need a solution that will last me at least 5 years. So, a couple of options for you, Sean, because we've talked about this before in terms of like longevity, and we've done a whole thing on how to keep like up to date, because obviously you can't upgrade these Macs internally in any way, shape, or form. You can't change it. It's not going to happen. But you're asking me if you can have one of these to run your recording studio for the next 5 years. Yes, you can, but the most effective way to do it would not be to do that, but to get either this iMac now, and then when something better comes along, resell the iMac and move on to something else, but resell it quite quickly so it's still got a lot of its value in it. The other option would be to go more of the way that I've done, which is to get the displays that I've got are separate and go with a Mac Mini, because then all you're getting rid of is the Mac Mini itself. You keep your displays, you're going to lose less cash on it. The Mac Mini will be absolutely fine. Douglas Humphreys, thank you so much for the super chat. Another one. Really, really do appreciate it, guys. But yeah, in terms of the recording studio, I think it will work. I think Apple Silicon is going to progress very, very quickly compared to a lot of other stuff that's going on. So from that point of view, I do think that the best option is to pick something up that works for you now, and then move it on when something else comes out that you think this would actually be a big, like a big advantage for me. Tanner Towsey, yikes, 5 years build a PC. No, because it will just be slower than an M1 Mac, like for the same money, and it will be noisy. And it's a recording studio. You don't want all that extra fan noise. So why would you build a PC? Silly idea. Nikos1234, will they use PowerPC chips on the iPhone 13? Yes, 100%. The same as on the Mars rover, which actually runs an iMac G3 chip. It's the PowerPC 750, although it's the radiation-hardened version. But yeah, I would love to see that in an iPhone, because it was hot at the time. Let's see, it probably lasts 12 minutes. The PowerPC, the G5 PowerPC hand warmer, Joe Garcia. Yeah, exactly. They're not cool little things. But I am gonna have to raid the attic and get down some Macs, some old PowerPC things. Probably the colourful iMac that needs to make an appearance this week. I think that makes all the sense in the world. Tim Beaton, Sean Holiday, depends on what you run. If it's a record audio, possibly. If you sample libraries, probably not. To replace my 2012 iMac, I'll wait for 32 gigs. So Tim, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but there is a video out there where they've got like 1,000 virtual drummers running on an 8 gig Mac Mini with Logic Pro, and it doesn't skip a beat. So it's worth checking it out. You might be surprised at how well it works because of the swaps and because of how quick the storage is. You don't necessarily need as much RAM as you probably think. What else have we got in here? Slow Cuba, I think my spell check messed me up the first time. Oh, what did you say? Aluminium is the iMac version, not aluminium. I'm assuming that's what you're asking. Is the new iMacs aluminium? Yes, they are, but they are anodized aluminium, as far as I know. Nolmit779, new iPhone? Nope. The only thing that we had was a new colour for an iPhone, but there is no new iPhone. Michael Cole, hello Dave. Hello. Be the sunshine, just, leave links to your own videos, that's cool too. Sean Holiday is an M1 owner, never experienced faster transfer speeds. Yeah, 100%. It's obscene. The only thing I have noticed with the M1 is I have to restart it like once every 3 days because for some reason it starts to like clog up. I think it's because every so often I open Chrome and that's a bit of a memory hog. It's got some leaks, but it's not a big deal because even restarting the thing, I think takes about 25 seconds from start to finish. So, 16GB 2011 Mac iMac is being pegged. Yeah, Sean, if you're using a 2011 iMac, it's out of date by about 2 or 3 operating systems. So yeah, I would say probably, yeah, see what you can do about that. I would grab yourself a Mac Mini if you desperately want to keep it for 5 years because you don't want to update licenses and stuff. I would, yeah, probably just hold on for M1X because that is going to do you for quite a while. That's going to be probably more powerful than the next 3 M series chips, at a guess. Joe Garcia, if a Hackintosh is running Mac on a generic PC, is Hacky Windows running Windows on an Apple Silicon Mac? Yeah, we've talked about this on the shows before. Because the M1 is just so powerful, everyone kind of wants to hack Windows onto it, and it runs Windows on ARM better than any of the Surface stuff does right now. So that's pretty cool. If the current M1 unified memory is upgradable for a couple of $100, do you think it will be similar for the iMac? Yeah, I think the upgrade price is going to be the same. But because it's M1, you will probably be capped out at 16 gigs, I would guess. OP Bulbul, new iPad, yes. New iPad Pros, that's what we got today. Don't really like the chin on the iMac. I kind of like it because it keeps the colour there. I also really like the white bezels. I don't know why, but I really do. I will hold on to my money for a bit longer. I just worried that the larger iMac will have a starting price of $2,000. I think starting price is probably going to be $17.99, which is what they currently start at. I think for the larger ones, it might be $14.99, but I think it's $17.99. That's most likely going to be where it starts. John Ford, 16 gigabytes is definitely enough for a recording studio. I've been using Logic Pro with 12 gigs of RAM, and it's absolutely fine. Yep. So I think we've probably gone through most of the questions here. If you guys have got any more questions, I am going to wrap up this stream now. We've gone over just a little bit, but thank you all so much for the super chats. I really appreciate it. It does kind of make me think to myself, oh, people actually do appreciate what we're doing here. It's worthwhile to keep going. So Douglas, the last one, thank you very much. Really do appreciate it. But yeah, if you've got any more questions, guys, hashtag iCaveAnswers down in the comments section. Not in the chat, because I can't get to this as easily, but in the comments section, leave me your questions with iCaveAnswers. I will answer every question, as long as it's not horrendously abusive or personal. But most of those I'll answer anyway as well, because I find them amusing. But thank you all so much for giving me your time. I'm going to go back and watch this video like a couple more times. I'm going to grab some screenshots. We're going to make sure that we've got some really cool stuff that we can talk about in tomorrow's video. We will be back at 12 UTC as usual, supported by CleanMyMAc X, our new sponsor, which is very exciting for me, because having sponsors means that I can make more stuff for you guys. So thank you all for coming. We will have some AirTags on the way, because we've got to play with those, and at $29 that's a ridiculously good price, right? I think that's cheaper than Samsung's one, which is probably really going to upset Samsung. But thank you all, guys. Really appreciate it. You love me in a non-biblical sense. I love you in all of the Bible ways. And as soon as I saw July 4th 1776, I just start singing Hamilton in my head. So thank you, guys. Let's wrap it up. See you all in tomorrow's Apple Daily with me, iCaveDave. Thanks for coming.